Okay, this is the free motion quilting tutorial for trailing tiers. This is very similar to flowing glass in that you're stitching kind of very wavy teardrop shapes and then stitching back to the edge of your space. Only this time you're going to travel a little bit and then stitch inside the shape and do kind of an internal echo. And just be real careful traveling, stay right on top of your previous stitching, and also really work to keep your lines consistent distances apart. Your eye's not going to catch every single mistake, so don't feel like you need to seam rip anything out if it's not perfect. But just aim for consistency, consistently stitching over your previous lines when you're traveling, and consistent distances apart when you're echoing your previous lines of stitching. This is one of those fills that looks really, really good in sashing in kind of the plain areas of a quilt. This would be one of those things that's really difficult to quilt around something complicated, but it's really easy to quilt in kind of skinny areas like 2.5 inch sashing is the space between your blocks. That's pretty standard. Most quilters use 2.5 inch sashing between their blocks, and this would look really good placed horizontally to add a lot of texture to a space that generally is left very blank and very open. And you can change the kind of shape and look of the whole fill by changing the way the teardrops move. Like you can see that last one that I just did, I really kind of wiggled it around a little bit, and that definitely added a lot more texture to the shape. If you have an oddly sized space, you might have to do just kind of like half of a teardrop shape. And just try and kind of wiggle it in so it makes the most sense and keeps the design going. There's always those kind of strange areas in any quilt, but as long as you keep your lines consistent and distances apart, it'll continue to look consistent with the rest of the fill. Right here you see me use my hand as a stop. I've mentioned that in some other videos, but I wanted to show it again. Your hands, especially your right hand, can be a very useful tool in free motion quilting. Right there you saw me using my hand to against the side of the foot, kind of as a stop for the foot, so it couldn't stitch beyond the edge of the stitching. Sometimes you end up with a space that you can't quite echo properly. In that case, just do a single line of travel stitching, and that looks just fine. And here's what this filler looks like when it's finished. And for more free motion quilting videos, please go to my website, daystyledesigns.com.